The question is, a hexagonal pyramid of base side 40 mm and axis height 65 mm is resting on HP by its base, with two of its base edges being perpendicular to VP. So up to this word, we are just going to deal only with projections of solids. Then it is cut by a plane which is perpendicular to VP and inclined at 35 degree to HP. So this statement is for mentioning about the cutting plane. Which type of cutting plane is going to cut the solid? And further, the cutting plane passes through the solid axis at a point 30 mm from the apex. In which way the cutting plane cutting the solid? It is passing through the solid axis at a point 30 mm from the apex. So this statement will give you where exactly the cutting plane is cutting the solid. And further, you have to draw the development of the retained portion of the solid. After sectioning the solid, definitely we are not going to get the whole solid. Some portion in the solid is considered to be the removed portion and it is removed from our consideration. And the portion which is retained after the sectioning is obviously retained portion. For that portion alone, we are going to develop the outer surface of the solid. Okay, right. So as usual, we have to process first with the projections of solid. You have to draw the front and top views of the solid, orthographic projections of the solid. Thereafter, with the given cutting plane, you have to cut the solid. After that, you have to develop the solid. These three are the sequence of operations here we are going to follow. Okay, let me do one by one. First of all, you have to provide the XY line. Then I need to draw the front and top views of the solid. Here the solid is simply standing on the horizontal plane with a simple vertical position with the base of the solid in the horizontal plane. Okay, so the front and top views will be obtained. The top view is in the the base view of the solid is in the top view and the lateral view of the solid will be in the front view. Okay, in the simple vertical position standing of the solid. So I have to draw the base view hexagon in the top view only, followed by drawing the lateral view in the front portion. I just drawn the hexagon, but it is not the true hexagon. It's an approximate hexagon only for the demonstration purpose. I am not taking any serious measurements here. And why I drawn this hexagon in this alignment instead of that alignment? Because in the question itself they have mentioned that the hexagonal pyramid is resting on HP by its base with two of its base edges being perpendicular to VP. So out of the 6 base edges, 2 of the base edges are being perpendicular to VP. So out of the choice 1 and 2, which choice is up to for this question statement? The first one. Here you can see 2 base edges, this one and that one, are perpendicular to the vertical plane. I am maintaining it perpendicular to XY. That is nothing but perpendicular to VP. And here you can't find that constraint. maybe two of the base edges are parallel to VP. It's not out of our scope. So this choice is correct. So in that way, where should be the base? Top view. How should be the base? Two of the base edges being perpendicular to the VP. So in this way, you have to draw the base view of the hexagon. Actually, it's a pyramid. So you have to show the slant edges. Do everything with the help of 2H pencil, because we don't know who are all the retained portion and who are all the removed portion. So the retained portions only need to be done. So up to deciding these things, we have to draw everything with the help of 2H pencil. Yes, I just drawn the base view of the hexagon, and I have to give the name starting from A, B, C, D, E, and here it is F. I think it is visible to you. Yes. And here the apex point can be named with the alphabet O as usual. Okay. So now the base view of the solid is over. You have to project each and every corners of the base view towards the front view area by the help of the projectors. In the XY line itself of front view area, you can mark the base corners. Here you can mark A dash comma B dash, because this projector is common for both A and B. So here you can mark A dash comma B dash. However, the visible corner A can be highlighted by giving bracket for the B dash. The same way here you can mark F and C, that is C dash and F dash. Out of that, C can be goes inside the bracket since it is invisible. And out of E and D, here you can mark E dash and D dash. Out of this, D can be goes inside the bracket. And then at the height of 65 mm, that is the at the axis height, we need to mark the O, that is our apex point. Just measure it. At the height of 65 mm, we can mark O dash. Now after marking these stuffs, just join the slant edges in the front view. Now I am maintaining everything as light by drawing the 2H pencil for our assumptions. Okay, now the projection of the solid is over. We just drawn the top view and the front view of the solid, and then we can go for cut the solid with the given cutting plane. The given cutting plane is perpendicular to VP and inclined at 35 degree to HP. Inclined at 35 degree to HP. And where exactly the cutting plane is going to meet? First we have to mark that point. Thereafter only we need to bring the cutting plane and cut the solid. The cutting plane is going to cut the solid and passes through the solid axis at a point 30 mm from the apex. From the apex 30 mm you have to measure back towards downward. Okay, from the apex measure 30 mm. Approximately I am aiming here. Where the axis is? Here the axis. Here the axis. Here our cutting plane is going to pass. Okay. So So in this point our cutting plane is going to pass through the solid, and the nature of the cutting plane is it is perpendicular to VP, right? So you can show it in the front view, and inclined at 35 degree to HP. So 35 degree to HP cutting plane you have to prepare. Through the axis 35 degree inclination. It is 35 degree inclination of the cutting plane. Okay. So in that way you can cut the solid, and now you can decide which is the retained portion and which is the removed portion. So the portion just below the cutting plane is retained portion, and that portion may be considered as the removed portion. And very first you have to mark the cut points. Cut points are nothing but the points or the new terminals obtained in the edges which are all attacked by the cutting plane. Okay. Now start to travel from one extreme end of your cutting plane. Let me to start from this end, and here I am meeting a first intersection. Just verify whether only one edge is passing in that or two. Here O dash, B dash, O dash, A dash. Two edges are passing over in this intersection. So I have to give two cut points. They may be A1 dash and B1 dash. A1 dash and B1 dash. Out of that I can give B1 dash inside the bracket, and then start continue your travel. Again one more intersection. Here just verify how many edges are get attacked here. O dash, C dash, O dash, F dash. So two edges are attacked in this point. We have to provide two cut points. Say they are C1 dash and F1 dash. F1 dash. So in that C1 dash maybe goes inside the bracket, and then continue your travel. And here one more intersection. Check O dash, E dash, O dash, D dash. Two edges are attacked in that intersection. So you have to give two cut points. They may be E1 dash and D1 dash. Out of that D1 dash can be goes inside the bracket. So in that way we identified three places in the front view as cut points, and 6 cut points are obtained. Why 6 cut points are obtained? Because your cutting plane attacked 6 slant edges. So each slant edge will provide one cut point. So totally we provided with 6 cut points. Okay. In order to avoid some confusion, let me to write this point here. E1 dash and D1 dash. Okay. Same way also can be replaced here. Point E dash and D dash. Okay, some other things will come here. Right. Now you have to transfer all these cut points obtained in the front view towards the top view area and mark them in their respective places. Okay. Before that, our usual practice is we have to note down the address of each and every cut point. So for the A1, B1, C1, D1, E1, F1 are nothing but the cut points. Now mark the address of each and every cut point here for our remembrance purpose. So for the cut point A1 dash, what is actually the address? OA. In the same way for B1 it is OB, for C1 it is OC, for D1 it is OD and OE, and further OF. So these are all the address of each and every cut point, just I noted. And then just project your cut points towards the front view area and mark them in their respective address. I am projecting now A1 and B1, and I have to mark these two in OA and OB respectively. Yes, this projector, the projector of A1 dash and B1 dash is crossing BC, OB, OA, even AF also it is crossing. But where you have to drop the A1 and B1, you have to drop A1 in OA and B1 in OB. So where is OA? Here, the OA is there. So here you have to drop the cut point A1. A1, okay. And there you have to drop the cut point B1. Similarly, project C1 and F1. If you project C1 and F1 with the projector towards the top view area, it will never intersect with OC and OF. So in this kind of conditions, I already told you the method how to mark the cut point if you meeting this kind of situation. Just transfer this C1 F1 in horizontally towards the extreme slant edge. See, I am just see here how I am marking the C1 F1 in the top view. Since I am not able to mark it by simply projecting towards the top view area. Now I am transferring this C1 and F1 in horizontal way towards the extreme slant edge. See here, I just draw a horizontal line from this C1 F1 and towards the O dash E dash. Here I marked a point. Now project this point to the OE edge in the top view. OE edge in the top view. Since I picked with the edge OE, O dash, E dash in the front view, I have to drop it in the OE of top view. Drop it here. And now make O as a center and this new point as radius. Draw a small arc towards OF as well as towards OC. Okay, towards OF as well as towards OC. And you will get 2 points in OF and OC. These two are nothing but the cut points what we need to mark. In OC, you can mark C1. Here I can mark C1. And in OF, I can mark the F1. So in this way, you can mark the cut point in this kind of situations. And for marking E1 dash and D1 dash, usual method you can follow. So I am projecting E1 dash and D1 dash towards the top view area. And I am getting points here and there. This point is nothing but D1 and that point is nothing but E1. Here it is E1. And now I just obtained the cut points A1, B1, C1, F1, D1 and E1. Now connect all the cut points with the help of straight lines, not with arcs. Okay, so this is nothing but the removed portion and the retained portion can be highlighted by the help of HB pencil. You need not to rub off the portion inside the cut points. Just for your understanding purpose, I am rubbing it, and then you have to darken the retained portion with the help of straight lines. And here also, this is the retained portion. and this portion is removed portion. This is the retained portion. Right. So far we completed projections of solids and sections of solids. Now we need to develop this cut pyramid, okay, by using the radial line method. In order to apply the radial line method, first we have to know the true slant edge length of this pyramid. Actually, what is the true slant edge length? In the introduction class of development of surfaces and in the introduction class of how to use the radial line method for developing the uncut pyramid, I instructed these things. What is actually the true slant length of the pyramid and how to find the true slant length of the pyramid if the data is not given in the question. Okay. However, I will explain you here how to find out the true slant edge and what is actually the true slant edge. See, in a case of a pyramid, if you consider a square pyramid, okay, if it is a square pyramid, what all the various dimensions are? This is nothing but our base edge, okay, base edge length, and this is nothing but the axis height, the vertical height of the pyramid. And what is actually the true slant edge length is, actually the slant edge length is the length of the slant edge, This length is nothing but slant edge length or side edge length in the case of the pyramid. The side edge length is not equal to the axis height of the solid. The axis height is always less than the slant edge length of the solid. Always your slant edge is greater than the axis height. Okay. Slant edge length is always greater than the axis height. It's a fact. Okay. Now, how to find this? In all the questions in engineering graphics, what we are dealing now, the height of the solid, that is the axis height of the solid, and the base edge length of the solid only given as a input data for drawing the things. With that only we so far drawn the all pyramids, whatever it may be, pentagonal pyramid, hexagonal pyramid, square pyramid, triangular pyramid, whatever it may be, we need the axis height and the base edge length. We never used the slant edge length for drawing the front and top views of the solid in our context. But now here we are in need of that, not for drawing the solid, in order to develop the solid. And this slant edge length can be measured by using your already done front view and top view itself. By using these two views, you can find the true slant edge length in geometrical way, not by means of the analytical way. You need not to going to use any formulas or equations to find out what is the slant edge length of this pyramid. Just by going through some geometrical steps, you can find the true slant edge length of this pyramid. Let me to instruct how to do it. See here. First of all, we are having the axis point of the solid in the top view. Here, we are having the axis point of our solid in the top view. Now, just draw a horizontal line. Which is parallel to xy. Draw a line. Okay. After that, take any of the base corner in the top view. Any base corner, you can take A, B, C, D, E, F, anyone. Okay, and make the center point O as origin in your compass, and any base corner as radius. Maybe your pencil placed here and the pin of the compass placed there, and just draw an arc towards this horizontal line. I am getting an intersection here. Okay, right. Now, draw a line perpendicular to the xy from that intersection point towards the xy line. See, in xy line I am getting a point here. Now connect this new point and your O dash. O dash is nothing but the apex point in the front view. See, this line will give you the actual length of the slant edge. Actual length of the slant edge. And what is the technical background of this method is actually we are artificially making a slant edge parallel to the XY line in the top view area. Okay. See, OE, OD, OC, OB, OA and OF, all these base slant edges are not parallel to the XY line, that is not parallel to the VP, in fact, because of this resting condition of the solid. For that, we are making any one base edge artificially parallel to the XY line. For that only I drawn this horizontal line which is parallel to XY, and by rotating any corner and I am making a new point here, I just made that particular edge artificially parallel to the XY line. See, it is now artificially parallel to the XY line, and now I drawn the artificial front view of that edge also. So this new line is nothing but the imaginary front view of the particular edge. It's fact only, but it will give you the true length of your slant edge. Just measure it, how much it is, measure it, and that will give you the true slant length of your solid's slant edge. And note it, maybe I obtained here as 70 mm approximately. I don't know what will come when you drew it with the true dimensions and with the true tools in your paper. For the demonstration purpose, I am assuming that I obtained the true slant edge length as 70 mm. Okay, assumption only. Maybe the true value differ in your paper. 70 mm. Right. By using that 70 mm true slant edge length, load it in your canvas. Load it in the canvas and then draw a free arc. With this slant edge length, I draw an arc with this arch. A free arc. After drawing this free arc, connect any one terminal first. Here I connected. Okay. After connecting this, take your compass and load your canvas with the length equal to the base edge length of your solid. Here it is given as 40 mm. So load your canvas with the 40 mm radius. Okay, 40 mm radius, and from this point cut the arcs continuously. Totally you have to provide 6 sectors here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because the solid is having 6 base edges. After marking them, join them with your apex point. Here it is actually the apex point, O. Now do everything with the help of 2H pencil, okay? We are now developing only the uncut solid. And the base edges also should be connected with the help of straight lines. and start to mark the base corners here, starting from A, B, C, D, E, F, and end with A. End with A. Now I just developed the uncut solid, and this portion is unwanted portion. You can drop it off. So uncut solid development. Now we have to mark the same cut points in their respective position. Okay, and before that, you have to transfer these cut points into the true slant edge length line. See here, the cut points in the front view are A1 dash, B1 dash, C1 dash, F1 dash, and E1 dash, D1 dash. They are marked in their respective position. Before measuring them to mark in the developed portion, first you have to transfer all the cut points toward the true slant edge length line. See here, we just drawn a line which is denoted as true slant edge length line. Towards that line, we have to mark all the cut points. See, I am horizontally moving A1 dash, B1 dash, and marked it in the true slant edge length line. Here, it is nothing but A1, B1. And in the same way, I am transferring C1 dash and F1 dash in horizontal way towards the true slant edge length line. And here I have to mark C1 and F1. Visible, students, for you. Maybe you can zoom it. And transfer E1 dash and F1 dash and mark it in the true slant edge length line and mark as E1 and D1. So in that way, I marked all the cut points in the true slant edge length line also. So after that only, you have to measure the distance of each and every cut point from the O dash. Okay, from the O dash. Here I am going to mark them. So first I need to mark A1. A1 needed to be marked in OA. Okay, in OA only you can mark A1. So what is the distance of A1 from O dash? See here, O dash is here and A1 is there. So measure this distance. You should not measure that distance. Okay, you should not measure how much the distance between O dash and A1 dash from this line. You have to mark it from the true slant edge length line where just you marked all the cut points. So measure O dash A1 and mark it in the same address. It is A1. Okay, A1. The same way, measure O. You see, OA is in two places. So in both places you have to mark A1. A1 and B1. How much the B1 is located far away from O dash. So measure this distance O dash B1 and in the OB you have to mark it. Is B1. And in the same way, measure O dash C1. Actually C1 need to mark in OC. So with the same distance O dash C1, mark it in the OC. This is C1. In the same way, O dash D1, see here, is located here in true slant edge length line. From O dash you have to measure it. O dash D1, in OD you have to mark it. It is D1. And E, measure the distance in the right place, mark it. It is E1. And F, measure it and mark in the respective place. It is F1. Right. Now all the cut points are marked in their respective slant edges in the development also. Connect them first with the help of straight line. Use your scale and connect them. Just connected. Now this is nothing but the boundary line. So just above this boundary line is considered as the removed portion, and below the boundary line is considered as the retained portion. Okay, so don't rub off the removed portion, just darken the retained portion edges alone. Okay, already we did everything with the help of 2H pencil, so just darken them with the help of HB pencil. Right. So this is nothing but the retained portion development. Okay. So in that way you can draw the pyramid and cut it with the given cutting plane and develop it for our convenience. So this is what the problem I planned to discuss today. Now you can ask for any doubts in that context. Before I will summarize what I thought for this question alone from the beginning. First, as per the question statement, we drawn the front and top views of the solid. The solid here is standing on the horizontal plane with its base, with two of the base edges being perpendicular to VP, and in that way we drawn the base view of the solid, followed by drawing the lateral view of the solid. After drawing the front and top views of the solid with the given cutting plane, I cut the solid and marked the cut points in the front view, and then I marked all the cut points in the top view also. So up to that we just processed the sections of solid portion. After that I developed the uncut solid. Okay, so then marked all the cut points in their respective slant edges to finish the development of cut solid. So this is what the work done here.